nagas. Go ahead.
Like, because he handed it all the way from jail.
Okay, it's that, and it's just the experience. It's like a father hearing that his kid's fighting.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you ain't sure what happened,
Right.
but you can damn near know who started shit.
Yeah.
You already know who's, because you raised them. You their father. You get the point? And you already know, okay, this report here, you know, I ain't looking at you like, who? Not them. I partly believe it.
Right.
That's why. You get the point?
Come on.
Go ahead. Not so much Israel's nagas.
Yeah.
It's just, you can know? To what? Most likely. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 19. For there must be also heresy among you, that they which are approved,
You need some of the drink. Go ahead.
It's like that they which are approved may be made manifest among you. Verse 20.
Right, so he's now letting them know, listen, when you come together for this Passover, he's hearing that as they come together, they ain't all together like they should be.
Right.
And he's like, listen, I have to believe it because I know y'all. He said, but ain't no sweat. I ain't sweating nothing. Heresies must come so that they who are approved might be revealed.
Right.
What does that mean?
So that can say that the ones and them who
Just speak up a little bit.
so that can say
No, sorry.
the ones and them who, as you say, causing division, you'll actually see them. You'll actually see them in the open.
How are you gonna see them?
Because now, by not following, as you say, the instructions, let me say that as our father left, now you're seeing now who causing the division, who making, as we say, as our father children, who caused the row.
Okay, but how are you gonna see it though? How does that happen?
It's like, is it more so like when the smoke clears, like who's still around, who's still in the school, like
no. Before that, something had happened.
Sorry, if I could, I would say, like just using the metaphor, like cream rises to the top, the cream of the crop. The best, you'll see the best men actually following orders by doing the work.
Okay, so you in the neighborhood, but you ain't giving it to me. You ain't giving it to me. You're tapping you're tapping around it, right? You're gonna be able to see what's going on. You're gonna see the best men, the men who following what they're supposed to do, doing it. But there's something that has to happen. Right?
I mean, so it's a difference between them. They having different opinions, and like you said, the ones who are approved, they'll be following what he taught them to do.
Okay.
And the other ones are going to expose themselves by not following orders.
Okay, that's true. That's not the number one answer. You find me few there about number 2 or 3. That ain't the number one. The question still, you understand the question?
Kind of, sir. I would say when it's time to fight, they ain't there. When the battle is at hand.
Okay, y'all skipping past a whole lot. There's something that must happen. And it's so basic. It's the
council.
What do you mean?
Is it that if brothers are taking brothers to counsel or not?
Break it down some more.
Okay, so the whole going to he and thee alone first.
Why would he go to he and thee alone?
Because that's the order.
Break it down.
Give a Christ if you love your brother.
Okay, we'll break it down. So now, based on what he's saying here, there's division.
Right.
So now, what's happening?
Okay, brothers are not. They're. I can't say they're not.
Okay, let me read that a little bit ahead. This might help you out. All right. Who was reading?
Okay.
All right. Quick.
God, sir. Verse 19. For there must be also heresies among that's one place. This is not to eat the Lord's Supper. Verse 21. For in eating, everyone taketh before other his own supper, and one is hungry, and another is drunken. Verse 22.
Right. So as they come together, because of the divisions among them, there's what?
So like somebody got the drink, and he not sharing it, and he got the food.
But how does it? Just in UPK, how does that even happen? What should happen?
It's shared to everybody.
No, it's okay. I give me UPK.
Well, of course, by rank.
Exactly. So now they ain't no rank and order anything.
Right.
So it's chaos happening.
Right.
So because there's no rank and order, one eating and one hungry. One drinking so much he done drunk.
Right.
And the other one he ain't get none.
Right.
Right? Just think of father leave the house and whoever is the bully amongst the children is just, he just take over.
Right.
Right? Keep reading.
Okay. Verse 22. What? Have ye not houses to eat and to drink in?
Right. So now, how does the one who's approved be made manifest? Seeing what happened, seeing the chaos that's going on, how is he made manifest?
So like I said, no. What he will do now, you step to that one or the brother and check in.
That's it. Matthew 18 and 15. Right? If that brother offended, go to him and him alone.
Right.
If he does not hear him, take him for 2 or 3, so every word will be established.
Right.
That's how you know who's approved. Because by the council, you'll know who's approved.
Right.
Now, in some cases, the council don't have to happen. Because that person done trip off and go wherever and left the truth. You get the point?
Right.
There ain't no need for a council because it's done decided.
Right.
You see who wasn't approved. You get the point? But that thing has to happen. So conflict, it must happen. It must happen here. Heresies must come.
Right.
So that those who are approved could be seen, could be, and that's the process of it. The process of it is go to him and him alone, and that's it. And from there we go forward. Or this sounds like an incident. And UPK, an incident involves reports, this, that, and they're going to have a council anyway because this ain't a personal trespass. This is a council that's like the state's picking it up now.
Right.
You get the point? Like that could happen. Some shit could happen, and it's just like it don't matter. the state have picked this up.
Yeah.
You report it up. Okay, so who's taking who to council? It don't matter.
Yeah.
This had to go to council because the incident that happened. You get the point? Go ahead. Keep reading.
Or despise ye the church of God.
Right. So read 22 again.
Verse 22. What? Have ye not houses to eat and to drink in? Or despise ye the church of God?
Right. So he's saying what? Have ye not houses to eat and drink in? Or do you despise the church of God? What is he saying there? Go ahead.
You can do that in your own house. You coming in the school in the house of God with all this animosity with your brother. You know what I'm saying? You could have not shared in your own house and stayed home and did that.
Yeah, like you gonna come here to do that? Why didn't you just stay home and do that shit?
Right.
You didn't have to come here and do that. That's old school too. Like you could have stayed. Why didn't you do that in your house? Why you gotta come here and spoil this thing? You get the point? Like that's that's what he said. Go ahead. Say something?
Lots, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
And shame them that have not.
Mm-hmm.
What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not.
Right? So he's checking them. He said, what should I say to you now?
Right.
Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not. I don't praise you. And that's the difference between Passover and Easter. They were acting like Christians in the school. You get the point?
Right.
And really, they should just put on a suit and a tie and some pointy shoes and go paint heads. That's what you should do. You should not be in here passing wine and unleavened bread and lamb because you're Christian. That's how Christians operate.
Right.
Christians operate like that when it's not Passover, when it's not Easter. Somebody eating too much and somebody ain't eating at all.
Right.
Somebody drinking too much and somebody ain't drinking at all.
Right.
That's how the church is structured. The church is structured like that. And that's where you belong. You get the point? That's if, in a nutshell, for example, that's what you want. As Paul was checking them, based on the report he was getting about how they would come together on these holy days. All right?
Right.
We got on that? Everybody understand that, right? All right, cool. So let's get into, building a house with bricks. All right? Because it's absolutely something that you should get familiar with. Go ahead.
It's like there's a question online if I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's from Ariel Weeks. He says, at the time Yahushua said to go to the lost sheep of Israel, it was in Jerusalem, 33 AD, and the other tribes, the northern tribe, and he listed all of them. The northern tribe was not in Jerusalem. They were in North Central America and the Caribbean islands. He also said they other sheep were not of this fold. And he says the 9 tribes. What was he talking about? What was that talking about?
Well, what you said earlier was correct and incorrect at the same time. The 9.5 tribes in bulk were in the Western Hemisphere, right? In the Americas, as it says in the Apocrypha, they were in a place called Ashtaroth. Somebody pulled that for me in what's that? 2nd Ezra 13 and something, or 30 and something, real quick, right? And then somebody pulled Matthew 10, 5 and 6 real quick, right? So what you were saying there is correct and incorrect at the same time. Incorrect because of your understanding of it. Your understanding of it from your question, from what you typed in, you think that there was nobody else outside of Jerusalem that our king was talking about, which is false, because Paul says in Romans 11, I am a Roman of no mean city, meaning no average city, meaning Paul, he was a Roman citizen, and he came from a city that wasn't, country. He wasn't from somewhere, I don't want to call nobody citizens to offend nobody, but you get my point. You know the point where the GPS, it don't have no road and you just see the dots. Paul wasn't from there. He was from he was from a known place. You see I grown over the weekend. I watched my mouth. I'm trying not to say nothing. Right? So that's it. Give me one of the apocrypha quick.
Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse. You want the exact verse? Or?
Yeah. Just where to talk about what is
45.
Hold on.
You can read that from 41.
From 39. Salaki, go ahead.
Can. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 39. And whereas thou swearest, he gathered other peaceable multitude unto him. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of O.C.
Right, and it's saying 10 tribes. Why? Because in what was left was Judah, Benjamin, and part of Levi. Right? And at the time, remember, Levi was not considered one of the 12. You get the point? So it would Levi was joined to the Lord as the priesthood. Right? Levi was joined to the Lord as the priesthood. Now Levi is in all the tribes. Right? Levi is like, just think like you have a police station in every city. Levi is the priest, and the priest is in every city that these tribes is at. They're in Judah city, they're in Benjamin city, they're in Ephraim city, because they have to perform the work of the priest.
Right.
So now when the northern kingdom separated, they took the Levite priests with them. The southern kingdom remained, there was Levites down there. And of course, over time, Dan, of course, got absorbed into the tribe. Dan is in the tribe of Manasseh.
Right.
Levi became 12, so now you have the 9.5 and the 2.5 tribes, that type of situation going on. Right? You was gonna say something? Okay, so now this is what happened. They, of course, were taken into the Assyrian captivity. You can read about that in 2 Kings chapter 17. You can go back and do your history on that. That'll let you know when the kingdom, went through their split, so to speak. And the Lord punished the northern kingdom by making the Assyrians take us into captivity, selling us into captivity, and remained with Judah, Benjamin, and part of Levi, Judah and his fellows. Ephraim and his fellows went into the Assyrian captivity, and while there, they took counsel among themselves. Give me verse 41.
Verse 41, book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves.
Give me a little louder. Read it again.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 41.
Mm-hmm.
But they took this counsel among themselves.
Go ahead.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwell. Verse 42. That they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Go ahead.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow place of the river. For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and he held still the flood till they were passed over. Right.
So Ephraim and his fellows took counsel in captivity. Right. Just imagine you in prison, and you get sentenced with a group. Right. And you all meet on the yard. You'll meet for lunch somewhere, and you all, among yourselves, is like, listen, we gotta get the hell out of here. We're gonna leave this captivity. We're gonna leave this sentence. But we're gonna go out there and we're gonna be right. We're gonna live right. We're gonna do what we was not doing when we was free. And they left, right? And they said the Lord took them through the narrow passages of the Euphrates River and held still the flood. Right? That whole thing about how Esau said they came on the Bering Strait is a lie.
Right.
They came on boats. Right? You could trace the Euphrates straight into, what's that open body of the water on the east side of Africa?
Red Sea.
And what does it go into the open body of water, the open ocean? What's that? The Pacific?
The Indian Ocean.
The Indian Ocean. Go down some more. What's down? Oh, that's Indian Ocean?
Yeah.
Then go west. Go west. What's that there?
The
The Atlantic. They went from the Euphrates to the, what's that? The
Arabian Sea.
The Arabian Sea into the Indian Ocean, down around the Horn of Africa. No, the Horn is at the top, but the lower part of where South Africa is, right. And came up to the transatlantic and came to the Americas. That's how Naphtali got here, Issachar got here, Ephraim got here on boats. That's why he said he held the flood, meaning he held the waters. It wasn't rough. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Asher. Then dwell they until the latter time, and now when they shall be to come.
Right? That journey took them a year and a half, a year and 6 months to go through. And you could check it out before the Industrial Revolution with steam engines, how long it would take to go down, sail around, and come around.
Right.
It's damn near the same thing. All right. Asareth is an ancient name for America. It's a place where no man dwelt. That's how they got here. So now, speed up to the brother's question. When Christ, give me Matthew 10 and 5 and 6, whoever holding it.
This Matthew chapter 10, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of
Christ enters. The history on it.
So like, because the Samaritans at that time were the heathens that were brought in there by I believe Antiochus or
Salmanasar.
Salmanasar. He removed the northern tribes and then put in heathens in that land.
Exactly. Right? Samaria, I believe, was the capital of the northern kingdom. After the Syrian Empire took the northern kingdom into captivity, they brought heathens in there.
Right.
And then brought some of the Gadites back to act as priests to teach the heathens our customs. That's where the woman who met Christ as the well came from. Right? She's a Sumerian woman who thought she was following after our custom.
Right.
And Christ had to tell her, ye know not what you worship.
That's right.
For salvation is of the Jews, not you.
Right.
And she said, we worship in this mountain. And he said, no, we worship here. He had to check her because she was the descendants of one of those implants. You get the point? Also, just sidebar, not to be confused with the parable of the Good Samaritan, which those words are not in the Bible, but that's the story you would be familiar with.
Right.
That Good Samaritan was one of those Gadites who was brought back. Right? The church will let you know that that's anybody.
Right.
But it's not anybody. It's a brother who was brought back and understood the law of brotherhood.
Right.
And that's why he was the Good Samaritan. For there to be a Good Samaritan, what other Samaritan must there be? A bad Samaritan. You get the point?
Right.
The other Samaritan is the heathens. And there was the Good Samaritan, meaning this was a brother.
Right.
And Christ is saying, don't go into the way of the Samaritans. Don't go to them. That's not our people. Right? That's not our people. If you're in purple, they're not our people. Don't go to them.
Right.
Go, to the east, to the lost 12 tribes. Go ahead.
It's like, I'm trying to remember that very story. Wasn't it a priest that came back?
You could go read it up. I can't remember the details like that, but I already said what it is. All right?
Come.
Go ahead.
So also, too, in that history, isn't that when the lions were killing the heathens? And that's why
the Lord cursed them and brought nature against them.
Right.
And they understood that they did something evil.
Right.
And they tried to appease the Lord by having them learn our ways so the Lord would be pleased with them. And the Lord's still not pleased with them.
Right.
Right? So now that's giving you just a brief history of what the brother's question was. So now, any more on that? Going on to the way, Samaritan?
Verse 6.
Keep going.
Verse 6. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Right, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Right.
Right? So now, also give me in Luke, when they took Christ to be circumcised on the 8th day. Right? When Joseph and Mary took Christ to the temple to be circumcised on the 8th day. So from the brother's question, he said, well, since the 9.5 or the 10 tribes went into America back after the Syrian captivity, after 2 Kings, who is Christ talking to when he said, I have sheep that are not of this fold, and go unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, if everybody else is elsewhere. Right? Give me where you have it. Give me where Christ went to get circumcised in the temple.
Luke chapter 2, verse 21. And when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child, his name was called Jesus, which was so named of the angel.
I think you skip ahead. Where you at?
Verse 21, sir.
Okay, no, give me slack here. I think it's further down. Give me Luke 2. Start 33.
Come on. And Joseph and his mother marveled at those things which were spoken of him.
Right. Go ahead.
And Simeon blessed them and said unto Mary, his mother, behold, this child is set for the fall and rising of many in Israel, and for a sign which shall be spoken against. Yea, a sword shall pierce through.
That got to be hard to hear.
Right.
This child is set for the fall and rise of many in Israel. I just want to know who fallen, because I know them niggas ain't want this child to grow.
Right.
Who fallen again?
Right.
Oh, I ain't got to worry about it. Oh, he fallen. Nah. We got to clip up over here. Go ahead.
Yea, a sword shall pierce through thy own soul also, that the thoughts of many hearts may be revealed. And there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asher. She was of a great age and had lived with an husband 7 years from her virginity. And she was a widow of about 84 years.
Right. So now, as they in the temple, this sister, she works in the temple. Right. Her name was Anna. She was from the tribe of Asher, which lets you know what?
That all of the 10 tribes weren't taken away.
Exactly. The Bible is not something that's finite.
Right.
It's not, a finite thing where it's just everybody gone.
Right.
There's remnants. In bulk, yes.
Right.
So there's Israelites still scattered who are not of Judah and his fellows. But she is part of the fellows because she's living in that area, that part in Jerusalem or Bethlehem, wherever they are.
Right.
She in there. So there was still people from the tribe of Asher still there.
Right.
You get the point? And now scattered all throughout. Give me James 1:1. Somebody else, Jamaica, give me 1 Peter 1:1. All right? Give me James 1:1. Give me Peter 1:1. All this is for the brother's question, all right? Bukwash pulled the one that he pulled sheep that are not of this fold.
James chapter 1, verse 1. A servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
Scattered abroad. 12 tribes are scattered abroad, not just in Arsaret, brother.
Right.
But all over.
Right.
Go ahead.
Read.
No, give me the other one.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Peter,
an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus.
Strong where?
Pontus.
Go ahead.
Galatia.
Galatia, that's where you get the book of Galatians from. Go ahead.
Cappadocia.
Go ahead.
Asia.
All these is places in Asia Minor and the Greek Isles around Greece. Go ahead.
And Bithynia.
Go ahead.
Elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Jesus Christ. Grace unto you and peace be multiplied.
All right. So now he's saying greetings to all the Israelites scattered in Pontus, Galatia, Philippia, all them places in Asia Minor and the Greek Isles.
Right.
There's Israelites scattered all over there. Give me the one you have.
This is John chapter 10 and verse 16. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold.
Right? Other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Who is the this fold? For the brother who was asking the question. Who is the this fold?
Is it Southern Kingdom?
Judah and his fellows. The current inhabitants at that time of Israel, which is Judah, Benjamin, and part of Levi. That's the fold. That's who Christ came to. You get the point? He came to the leaders of those people, but that's who was there. He said, I have other sheep that ain't from this group. Right? A fold is like a group who are outside. That's in the places we just read. So the bulk is across the Atlantic in the Americas, but there's still Israelites scattered right around there,
Right.
which is who Paul went. That was Paul's office.
Right.
Paul's office was to go to those Israelites scattered. So you ask, who did he go to? The other sheep of his that are not of this fold. It's not saying other nations.
Right.
It's just he has sheep that are not in this group.
Right.
That are scattered. And he had to go get them and bring them back to this group. The Israelites, born in other places, speaking other languages, but by blood, they're Israelites.
That's right.
This is not sheep that is spiritual. And now you could go marry some Filipino. You could go and get Pacquiao daughter.
Right.
Or go and get some Chinaman daughter. Or go and get some Saudi Arabian. Or go get Kim Kardashian. That's not what this is saying.
Right.
This is talking about Israelites who is scattered all over the earth, but come from the bloodline of Israel.
Right.
Go ahead.
Slap, I'm just trying to get that scripture again.
No sweat.
John 10 and 16.
John 10. Come on.
John 10 and 16.
Kind of.
All right. So hope that answered the brother question. All right. That's who he's talking about when he said who he went to. Good.
Kind of, sir.
All right. Quickly. So now y'all know recently China just made peace. Xi Jinping went and made peace with Iran and Saudi Arabia, right? Y'all heard about that? I think that happened 2 weeks ago. Wrong middle of March. This was he did this, I think, just before he went to Russia to visit Putin, right?
Right.
He made peace with Iran and Saudi Arabia. And Iran and Saudi Arabia have been ridiculous enemies forever. Right. They damn near liken them to the Shiite and the Sunni groups of Muslims at a governmental level.
Right.
And if you know anything about Islam, that Shiite and Sunni is the blood and the Crips of the Arabs. Right. It's blood and, that's it. Blood and sand. Right? One group is supposed to be Muhammad's descendants. The other group is supposed to be his cleric staff or his, the people he had around him that made up his office and their descendants. You get the point?
Right.
So one is like the descendants of his friends, the other one is his descendants.
Right.
And they all beef. You get the point? Hold on one second. Hello? Yeah, I'm in class now. You'll hit me off after. All right, sir. Go ahead. Right? One of them, you get the point. So they beefing. But now, Xi Jinping, through his ambassador, was able to negotiate a deal that America has been trying to negotiate for a while. And you remember when Trump went over there? Mm-hmm. Trump went over there when he was in office and tried to, broker deals with Iran and the Saudis. He tried to do it, and he was trying to, at the same time, boycott China. Remember, he was saying, he want to bring all the manufacturing back home, all the jobs, this, that, the other, because China is making so much money, and y'all don't understand the power y'all giving China. Now, I ain't trying to say go vote for Trump, but I'm trying to tell you that devil knew what he was talking about. You get the point? He understood just what he was talking about. So that deal never was able to happen with Iran and Saudi under the U.S., right?
Right.
But it was able to happen with Xi Jinping. So now Iran and Saudi Arabia, for want of a better word, are at peace. They're more, they're more cordial with each other. Xi Jinping is visiting Russia. And now they're asking the question, is he going to foster peace between Russia and Ukraine? He's not. He's about to tell Ukraine, if he hasn't already, I don't know, if somebody could check it out. He's about to tell Ukraine, y'all got 2 days. Either you genuflect and bow to Moscow, or there will be no more Ukraine to talk about. Right? He's not about to make, no kind of, compromising peace with Ukraine, because compromising with Ukraine means compromising with America. Right? Because it's a proxy war. It's, nigh onto a cold war down here. He's not about to do that. But no, this is the bigger issue that's at stake. for the last 15 to 20 years, China has been moving in the world's economy by providing services, goods and services. Go ahead.
It's like with their money being so cheap, you know what I'm saying, they like underbidding everybody and getting the work.
They were underbidding without underbidding.
How
Because even if China say $50 million pence, how much is the yen? $5?
Right.
It doesn't matter. You get the point? Now you can look up, anybody just pull it up for me. When China devalued their money, China had devalued their money a ridiculous low amount a few years ago. And everybody, was making on. Somebody tell you, okay, $10,000 for that shoe. People would say, is that yen you're talking about? Like making a joke because the yen is so low.
Right.
So if that money is in yen, I could afford it. Right? Go ahead.
So far this year, the yen.
Not this year. What I'm talking about is years ago.
So
1994.
Yeah.
1994. You was getting to that?
Yeah, I was reading the whole.
And I want the whole thing. I want to be straight to the point on this one. Right? 1994, they devalued their yen to the lowest of the low, and that was for a 1994 was how long?
about 29 years.
Yeah, just about 30 years, right? The year the dragon, the year the cat and the rat, and we're coming up with the year the monkey now. Go ahead.
It's like they devalued it by 33%.
In 94?
In
94, they devalued by 33%. Now, they had been devaluing it before. By 94, the money was so low that they could have doing business with China was so seductive to businessmen because your bottom line was so small.
Right.
Your running cost was so small because you're paying in yen, and yen was nothing. You get the point? So now, since 94 till now, because the money was so devalued, and it's how much, $1 billion of them at least over there.
Yeah,
they was able to win certain contracts with mass production, right? Whether it's parts, clothing, shoes. Then they moved into infrastructure, highways and buildings and bridges, where they was able to broker deals where not just providing you with the parts, but providing you with the labor as well. And they started targeting impoverished third world countries. Go ahead.
It's like in Houston, their whole highway infrastructure was built by China, and when you pay the tolls, you're paying China.
Well, listen, that's what we're coming to now. Since 94, they've been building bank. They've been building bank because they're getting investors, right? And at the same time, they're preying on these third world countries, right? Especially in the Caribbean, especially South America, Central America. Been preying on the third world countries. And damn near similar to the IMF, where if they have this contract with you to build whatever, you can't pay, you have to now buy certain things from them. You forced into, a financial contract with them.
Right.
And they've been doing this all the way up. Now, there's something called the BRICS Alliance, right? Somebody look up the BRICS Alliance, right? Because look for a picture of the BRICS Alliance and put it up on the screen, right? There's something called the BRICS Alliance. It's BRICS. It's called the BRICS Alliance, or the BRICS Organization. I want you to.
I got it, sir.
Read.
BRICS is an acronym for 5 leading emerging economies.
Right.
Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa.
Right. Those are the 5 leading emerging world economies. Right.
Right.
Now you see why there's a push for this Africa shit.
Right.
Right. And since the last 5-10 years, it's a whole back to Africa, mama man. Akon with the damn lights, and where the solar panels that Akon giving Africa come from? Anybody know?
China.
Yeah. Yeah, because he went to somebody first, either America or Russia. He went to somebody first, and they didn't want to do it.
Right.
And the Chinese had panels just for recycling.
Yeah.
And they gave him it all. And he broke a deal with them, and now you see what's going on. Not to mention all the infrastructure deals they have going on down there. India as well. You know, when they call scam likely, when he say, hello, my name is Michael. No, your name is Pradeep. That's your name. You Punjabi Pradeep. You try, hello, my name is Paul. I'm here to offer you something today. Scam likely. That's them. Right? Then Brazil. Who's this? Russia?
Russia, Kawkai.
Hold on one second. You have something up there? It's like it, brother. I'm in class now. You can call me afterwards. No sweater. You have something up there. Right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Right? And these are the emergent economies, meaning these economies are starting to gain power. Now, as these economies gain in power, when was BRICS founded? Did they tell you? You have it? Shapak? So
2000. It's not lie, sir. South Africa was added in 2010. Maybe 2001. I'm still reading.
No sweat. South Africa was added in 2010. Let's just take it from there. From 2010, right? South Africa is the last one to be added, right?
Right.
From 2010 till now, what has happened to European economies?
Spiraling down.
Spiraling down. You had Brexit.
Right.
You had the destabilization of the European Union, which was, of course, tied in with Brexit.
Right.
France was, France damn near been on fire since 2017. The Greek economy just fell. Greek, the pantheon just fell. And of course, the BRICS economy is rising.
Right.
Now, somebody Google, you keep that article you have, unless you could do the two.
Okay.
Somebody pull up the BRICS alliance worth in 2017. 17 or 18? Because you should be able to find a graph with that, where it's like a bar graph showing you the worth of each economy and who was the leading economy. No?
Okay, it says, as of 2018.
Go ahead.
It says the equivalent to $4.46 trillion in U.S. dollars.
Was what, the whole BRICS?
Kawkai, sir.
Okay, that's good. 4.4 trillion US dollars. They saying the BRICS economy was worth. Okay, let me see if I could find a specific article for you. All right.
Okay.
There's a specific one that gives a bar graph of the BRICS alliance, each country's worth in the global economy for that 1 year, and it lets you know how much have they contributed to the world economy. Hold on.
I have something here that also says, at the BRICS leaders meeting in St. Petersburg in September 2013, China committed $41 billion towards the pool. Brazil, India, 41 billion.
This is in US dollars.
Brazil, India, and Russia, 18 billion each, and South Africa, 5 billion. China, holder of the world's largest foreign exchange reserves, and
hold on. I didn't know that part. So these niggas stockpiling foreign currency. I'm gonna explain that in a second. Go ahead.
And contributes the bulk of the currency pool. Wants a more significant managing role, said one BRICS official. China also wants to be the location of the reserve. Brazil and India want the initial capital to be shared equally. We know that China wants more, said a Brazilian official. However, we are still negotiating. There are no tensions arising yet.
Yeah, there's no negotiating. China has it.
Right.
Okay, because type in BRICS economy size in 2017. Right, then go to images.
It's like a
BRICS economy size 2017. Right, and then go to images. It's like the second image. It's a bar graph of the 2016 GDP of BRICS members. You see it? It's a horizontal bar graph. You see it?
Come on, Constance.
All right. Because I'm going to send you the link, and I'm going to need you to read this article for me here.
Okay, come on.
Go ahead, Shapat.
It's like I had something here from the Forbes where it says at the 2014 BRICS Summit in Fortaleza, Brazil, I skipped down a little bit. It said collectively, BRICS account for nearly $16 trillion in GDP and 40% of the world's population.
Right. All right. Shit is check, not chess, not checkers. Because I gotta send it to you.
It's like it.
You see the raw graph, right?
Come on, Constance.
So you pull it up on the screen?
Come on, Constance.
All right. So this is the 2016 GDP of BRICS members, right?
Right.
What is Brazil's GDP?
1.8 trillion.
Right. And this together counts for just about 22% of the world GDP. Right?
Right.
This is in 2016. What's Russia's?
1.28 trillion.
Okay. What's India?
2.26 trillion.
What's China?
11.20 trillion.
$11.2 trillion for that 1 year in GDP, which is gross domestic product, meaning what the stuff they make, the products they make that they sell.
Right.
So in 2016, the world consumed $11.2 trillion of Chinese goods. In 2020, we consumed coronavirus, which was made in China. Go ahead.
It's like it, sir. I was reading the article back in 2016, and I didn't realize that had anything to do with BRICS. But in 2016, BRICS, Brazil overtook UK for the 5th largest economy in the world.
I mean, it's a struggle. It's the turning of things upside down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kazak, you have me?
Yep, come on.
Okay, so let me tell you where. Give me from the second paragraph.
Come on. In recent years, the BRICS countries have taken an ever-increasing share of global economic growth. According to estimates by the International Monetary Fund,
which is the IMF,
right? The contribution of the BRIC countries to global economic growth was about 60% in 2016.
In 2016, global economic growth, the BRICS alliance accounted for more than half.
Right.
Now that's a lot, brother. That's a lot. Yep. We're talking about Brazil.
Right.
And okay, Brazil can't just be Brazil alone because there's them countries tied with Brazil, right?
Right.
But we're talking about Brazil, no America, no Canada, no Central America, no the other Southern America.
Right.
No France, Britain, no North Africa with all that oil.
Right.
No United Arab Emirates, no Dubai.
Right.
None of that shit. Just BRICS.
Right.
And you can tell who's the workhorse here. The Republic of China.
Right.
All right. 60% of the world's GDP. Go ahead.
The IMF also estimates that in 2017, emerging economies and developing countries will contribute more than 3/4 of global economic growth.
According to the IMF, by 2017, they projected that third world countries that come under this BRICS alliance will contribute for more than 75% of the world's growth, economic growth, which means they control money.
Right.
You understand? They control a lot of money, a lot of the economy, world's economy. Go ahead.
And in the next few years, the contribution of these economies will still account for about 70% of global economic growth.
Right. So now you see the type of power they have, and you see who running things in there. China's been running things because their currency is so low. They're able to get contracts from everybody, anybody, take anybody's money, and because they're so they have a homogeneous society. It's one of the largest, I think the highest percentage of homogeneity in any nation. It's China, Japan, those type of countries you're not going to see other nationalities in there. less than 1%. They're strong with the tradition, which means they could suffer together more. They can now, put certain things in place and everybody down with it. So they're able to stockpile foreign currency. That's important. Why? Come on.
Sly, I'm about to say, not to mention, they got over 1 billion people over there.
All right.
They got the manpower.
They got manpower, and it doesn't. That money's from the outside. We ain't talking about the money from the inside.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, they got a bunch of manpower and no woman power.
Well, they could buy women out. They could go and just buy. Buy vagina, brothers. Listen, they're making a vagina. They're making bucks right now.
So basically what you're saying, they can suffer together. They rather, grow inside instead of bringing.
They're about the nation, but they're about world dominance as well. Yep. So now let me speed you along, right? I want to run watching the time. So now you know who's running that. That's China.
Right.
They have the largest reserve of foreign currency reserve. Okay. That's important. Why? Because oil is traded in something called the petrodollar. Right? What's the petrodollar? Who knows it? Go ahead.
You can only buy oil with the American dollar.
You can only buy oil with U.S. currency. You cannot buy oil in Chinese money. You can't buy oil in pounds or euros. You could only buy oil in U.S. dollars, right? That was decided, I think, in 69 or 74, somewhere there.
Right.
Where America made an alliance with the big boys in OPEC.
Right.
And they agreed that oil will be sold only in U.S. currency, which essentially turned the U.S. dollar into a commodity.
Right.
So the U.S. dollar is now like oil or cotton or, rum, like something on the stock exchange. The U.S. dollar is now, it's not something tied to the amount of gold in the Federal Reserve, but this is now like a natural resource. Right. So now if you want more, we just print more. And that's how the US dollar is now. The US dollar is a commodity that could be printed and it's not tied really to any kind of economy. Right? It's different than the other money. And because the oil can only be purchased in US dollars, America's economy can withstand a lot of world disasters. Because oil is used for everything. For your cars, for gas, to oil, lubricate this. For certain types of plastics, you have downstream industries from oil, petroleum, Vaseline. I mean, forget about it. To fight a war, you need jet planes and C4. Was it big ones? The C4?
The
C-130. Them big ass C-130s. Them shit ain't running on water. Is you need oil, and so now because of that, the American dollar is always buoyed afloat when it should sink. And countries like Russia, Libya and China have been trying for the longest to broker a deal to buy oil in other currencies, which is where you get your Bitcoin from. Your Bitcoin was initially them trying to now have people start buying and selling worldwide in other currencies. And now they were going to try to segue into that. That did not work out. Bitcoin started being, when I say Bitcoin, of course, I know that's a brand, but all them type of crypto money. That type of fake money, Jeremiah. Right? Yeah, monopoly money. Right? It's, it did not work out. So now, China has the largest foreign currency reserve. China is leading in the BRICS, right? In the BRICS GDP. Right? They're leading in the BRICS GDP. Damien has control of it. In addition to that, Russia is an oil-producing country. Venezuela is largely oil-producing. I believe Brazil has oil as well. Right? And the beginning of March, Saudi Arabia joined BRICS, which is ridiculous. Saudi Arabia joined the BRICS alliance, and they just made peace with Iran. What do you think they drinking sake and eating and you know and wanting soup and fortune cookies over.
Right.
You think they're talking about making Jordans? Or you think they're talking about let's not buy oil in US dollars anymore?
Right.
We the BRICS, we run the world economy now. If the BRICS pull out right now from everybody, the world's economy would fall.
Right.
That's what they're really saying. The world's in 2017, it accounted for 2016, it accounted for 60% of the world's economy.
Right.
The pundits predict that in the next year it will be 75% of the world's economy. And in the years after, they predicted it will account for 70% of the global economy.
Right.
5 countries, now 6. And by alliance, 7 with Iran.
Yep.
And China controls them all. Ni hao. Ni hao. How they say Buddha be praised.
Sir, and since this week, they have signed China back in Malaysia to remove IMF, replace the IMF in that region with a bank.
I believe it's in this same article.
But with yen.
I believe it's in this same article. Now, because they have the economy to back any debt that these third world countries have, China is moving on third world countries that owe the World Bank and owe the IMF to liberate. Everybody, you better go buy a ghee, you know. Go buy a ghee, go learn how to make some sake and eat rice. Because that's what's coming. Come on.
So like I would say we need to go buy some bikes because once that oil get changed over, our gas price is going to be out the roof.
Listen, I'm just saying, hurting on the oil only one. My car going to be running fine. That bitch going to be running fine.
Right. So I guess even and all when I'm reading with the dollar itself and all in paying currency and all, the change of the whole thing now. Now everybody, as I say, paying your phone so a card. So now they're trying to, let me say, scrap that dollar.
They're trying to get that thing electronic now.
So they want the dollar electronic through all this. So they're telling you now, here we're going on. We're doing this now because we're afraid to get robbed. Because I might walk in with a briefcase and money now.
Well, that's where it heading to. But pretty soon, their money going to be worthless like Venezuela. Remember, Venezuela people had thousands of dollars in the streets because the money was worthless. Now that's where America is headed. Now you ask yourself, is Trump getting locked up important? This China man here, bro, he's showing up in your country with a briefcase and he leaving smiling at. He's leaving smiling. And listen, this is probably a 30, 40, 50-year plan that these Moabites done hatched and stuck to it. Now you can't leave the Christian church.
Right.
You can't stop being Muslim. You can't put the blunt down. You can't put the damn weed down. You can't stop being a horrible alcoholic. You can't stop being a whore. You can't stop being a lesbian. You can't stop having abortions. When these people who you always make fun of, always make fun of, you go in the damn Chinese store, let me get six wings and fried rice. And make fun of them like a Chinese movie. How much? $5.99? Okay. You making fun of them. Hatched a plan for world domination now. Serious world domination. Now all Commander Yohanan is telling you, come follow our King Yahushua. Celebrate the Passover. Stop getting high. Stop being a goddamn drug addict and an alcoholic. Stop murdering your babies, unaliving your babies. Leave out the Christian church. Leave America behind, and that's too hard for you. Go buy a ghee. Go shave your head, put 6 dots in it, because you are going into the Shaolin Temple. Buddha be praised. Go get them big beads. You know, all you brothers who like Street Fighter, you're going to learn karate. You're going to learn it because they done set for that thing. Any more in the article?
Yeah, let's go into more like just a little stats.
There's more stats on it. But you see how powerful that BRICS alliance was. Now you go do some reading up on the BRICS alliance. All the European countries tried to dismantle that thing. And they just couldn't. It was, you know, and for a time they looked at it like it was less, like it was a lesser than, like an underdog type thing. And China propped that thing up by devaluing its dollar. And propped that thing all the way up until that thing got strong. And now, brother, it's, you know, if they decide to really trade in another currency app, the only way to stop it, the only way America is not going to, because trading in another currency makes the US dollar useless. It's it's no more valuable than this piece of paper. Because there's nothing holding the US dollar up. You don't produce oil. You don't have any world commodities. What do you hold that now you could vouch with?
Right.
So now the only way to stop that is to go to war.
Oh my God, sir.
It's to go. You're not using my money no more. Say that one more time. I didn't hear you. Say that one more time, gang.
Right.
I didn't hear you. The good old troops will be landing in your countries, BRICS.
Yep.
And that's why China, what they say, China, it's China or Taiwan. China recently, 800,000 soldiers. Or is 800,000? What was the article we read recently on that radio show? I think it's 800, not 800,000. Let's go with 800,000 for now. I don't want to say 8 million. 800,000 young soldiers between, I think, 19 and 23 enlisted into the military, looking for combat. Go ahead, I'm about to one.
Yeah, wasn't it in last week that we had all of EU countries flooding into China for some negotiation?
I believe they had some summit. I can't recall which one it was, but I believe something like that did happen. Now everybody trying to, stave off the inevitable.
Right.
But brother, this place is going into the Third World War. And where will you be? What would you do? The shelves are going to be empty, and the police are not going to come.
Right.
TikTok is not going to work. Instagram is not going to work. A lot of people are going to be unemployed. A lot of your fans ain't going to be your only fans. They're going to be fans of whoever have food.
That's right.
What you going to do? Go ahead, Bukwai.
Sir. Salakia, but the last time China was involved in a real major war, they just sent waves and waves of young men to just, stop the bullets.
Well, brother, so you could find the article out. There's a ton of them young men recently enlisted, right alongside what Xi Jinping was doing. Right. They're getting ready and gearing up for one. You should see the picture. Them guns look like something you draw. The weapons they got look like something you draw. You have it?
It's like I got North Korea. It said 800,000.
North Korea, 800,000, which I believe that is Moab anyway. I believe North Korea, South Korea is Moab. Or North Korea is Moab. I think South Korea is Ammon. One of the two, something like that. We got to read up that Korean conflict to find out exactly who. Right. But brother, this place is descending into war. I'd be a dummy to give a damn about Trump and being arrested over some whore.
Right.
Some whore who he had sex with, who he paid. He paid to have sex with her and paid her to shut her mouth. And she talked. Bitch is doing that for free. Why should I care about Trump, brother? You should be preparing for this place to go to war, because you could wake up tomorrow and the US dollar could be devalued and you will see real chaos and mayhem in these streets. Right. But guess who's going to be ready? The Israelite School of UPK under commanding general. We stay ready. You should have seen us at that Passover. We stay all the way ready. Ain't no problem. What demon, who, what, where. The Passover went on and was glorious. The scriptures say, hurt not the oil and the wine. You're going to see it, before your eyes. This world is coming to an end, brother. Prophecy is being revealed. China is going to back Russia. Russia's going to go all the way back to that USSR. They're going to start gobbling up all them countries, Croatia and Czech Republic and Chechnya and all of them. Yep. Then they're going to start to move south into them Northern African countries. It's going to be a whole wrap. And your oppressor, he has no choice but to be a natural brute beast, which is to go to war. Your boys are going to be enlisted into war, oppressor.
That's right.
Good luck. Godspeed. Same bad time. I would not pass the class over the priest officer.
I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We the I.S.U.P.K. we the I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West 125th Street under Commander General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, They're off limits for 6 months. They ought to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves to the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will call each other. After the 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew, and it's pronounced ma'ishra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation. We are still in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. 15th day of the first month for 7 days. That was Sunday, April through 9. I didn't do it yet. Count of 50 days. You can find us in the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 17 through 20. In the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 8 through 10. Verse 6 through 8. Shalom. You want to add anything to it?
No, that's it. I didn't close any feasts on Sunday.
Come, sir.
All right, close any feasts on Sunday, and that's it.
Come, sir.
Yo, watch and pray, man. This thing coming to an end.
Yeah, I'm right.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm right. Come. Remember, Ahmed Akwati to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a bro wants to be a troop in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black hairband or scarf. And with that, I say Ahmed, which means to stand. Which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Imam Shabbat, Emmanuel, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Brakatham. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Brakatham.
Yad Yimata, class dismissed.
What your numbers was on that TikTok?
The internet bowed out, but it was 300.
Okay. It's not everybody.